Today we're going to be talking about our next project, which is the stop motion animation. So what is stop motion? A movie created by numerous still images playing back to back in order to create motion of the characters or objects in the images. In the next few slides, we're going to watch some videos of examples of how stop motion is used to create movies. So we're not going to watch the whole video. This is available on Google Classroom if you wanted to watch the whole thing. But what I love about this video is that it's showing you the capabilities of both stop motion animation with claymation, but also showing different sound effects. Also notice how they had credits in the beginning or a title page in the beginning, and then it kind of continued on to the storyline. Notice that the dog barking didn't look like a dog, it was a ball of blue clay, but just giving the sound effect of a dog barking then told the viewer that it's a dog and he's playing fetch with it, which is really cool. So don't be nervous if you're worried about being able to create images out of clay. You will be able to actually add in your own sound effects and things like that to kind of help create the story that you've chosen to make. This last one is from Aardman Animation. It's a commercial. Aardman Animation is pretty famous. They've created a lot of videos or movies in the past. So I wanted to show you this quick one to kind of give you another idea. All right, so that was the commercial. It was kind of funny and weird, but that's kind of what stop motion is, and that's what claymation is. It's kind of quirky and handmade and interesting, and I really want you all to kind of embrace that quirky and fun side that you have to kind of create this own little storyline that you're choosing to make. So what are we making a movie of? You actually have two options. Your first option is going to be to create a story about one of your family traditions. It could be a holiday tradition, a birthday tradition, or seasonal, maybe during the summer or during the fall. You have a tradition where you go somewhere or do something that's specific to the season. What's really cool and what's something I want you to really keep in mind is the viewer should understand what's going on in your movie. No matter what you're making, it's really important to make sure that the viewer's not lost or confused in any way. It needs to be very clear cut as to the story you're trying to portray. The second option you have is to create a story about what your life is going to be like 10 years from now. Can it be funny, sad, a mystery, a love story? Absolutely. It could be all of those or one of those. It's completely up to you. I would love for you guys to think outside the box and kind of come up with your own story that would be interesting to the viewer. So what are we using? We're using the stop motion app on the art department iPads that we have in the classroom. Each student will be assigned their own iPad to be used during class, and it will be sanitized at the end of each class. You'll also be using sculpey clay, which is non-drying, it's reusable, and it's flexible, and it's going to help you create the main characters of your story. As you saw in the examples previous, it's a material that is easy to manipulate, and it's easy to make an object look like it's moving on its own because it moves easily. You can also bring in objects from home, so if you have Legos or toy cars or other objects you want to incorporate in your movie, you're more than welcome to bring them in and leave them in class so they're here for you every day when you come into work. The other thing you can use are drawings that you've drawn, or maybe images that you found in magazines or pictures that you have at home that you want to bring to school that allows you to really capture the moment and show the viewer what your story is really all about. All right, so we're going to go ahead and watch this next video that gives you the basics of how the stop motion app works. They do talk about editing your videos in iMovie. The iPads, of course, do have iMovie, but if you don't feel comfortable using iMovie, then you can use all of the different options, including adding sounds and title pages and things like that within the app itself. So it's kind of up to you and your comfort level when it comes to using the technology. There's also a green screen option, so we're going to go ahead and watch the green screen option. The LHS art department did pay for it, so it is something you can all use, and I have had some students use it in the past and have a really successful video. So recommendations for this project. You want to make sure to keep your device at the same location and only moving the objects or drawings. If the camera is moved even a little bit, the overall movie will be a little off. So we're gonna have tripods for all of you to use. You wanna make sure it's sitting in the same spot every time you take pictures, and you are also making sure that you're not moving the camera when you're taking the picture. It's just the objects themselves that are moving. The lighting in the room will be fine because you'll be in the classroom, but making sure that it's not too dark or too light, and making sure that the pictures are actually of good quality so that your movie, you can see it and it looks good. Move your objects ever so slightly for each picture. Like the first example video, how he said that it's very slight. It's really important that you do end up doing that, because if the object moves too fast in between frames, it won't move smoothly when the movie is being played. The requirements for this project: the total length of your video should be between 25 and 45 seconds. Keep in mind that there are 24 pictures per second in order to make the movie smooth. This means that your movie is going to consist of 600 or more frames once it's played. And that's to make sure it flows, it's not choppy, or you don't see individual frames. The biggest mistake that kids make is that they don't have a fluid movie because they didn't speed up their frames enough. And you guys will have plenty of time to take all these pictures, but it's important to not waste your class time when you are in class. Within that 25 to 45 seconds, you'll have a title consisting of 4 seconds at the beginning. It can be a written paper, or it could be objects that create words, whatever you want to do. And then within that 25 to 45 seconds, you will also have credits that are 4 seconds long, including your name at the end of the video. Your final movie should be downloaded to your drive and then shared with me in Google Classroom in the assignment that I will post in Google Classroom. Sound effects, background sounds, or music would be awesome if you have time or you're really into it. If you'd like to add those, but it is an option. It's not going to be a requirement. Just keep in mind, if we're watching a 25 to 45 second movie and it's complete silence the whole time, it is a little awkward. But again, if you find that you don't have enough time, it is what it is. I do plan on having all of us watch the videos made from both cohort A and cohort B, so that we see what each other are working on. So your timeline today is the introduction. You're going to pick a topic and gather your materials, and maybe start playing around with sculpey clay and kind of figuring out what your plan is. Day 2 and 3, you're going to play around with the app, create any objects, figures, props, and backgrounds for production. This can also include, and should include, the intro and credits. Days 4, 5, and 6 will be production, making the movie itself. And then day 7 should be at the end of that class, you should be downloading it to your drive and then sharing it with me in Google Classroom. It's really important that you are as productive as possible during class when you are in class. All right, I'm super excited to see what you guys come up with for this project. I really enjoy watching students make stop motion. I think it's a great experience, and I think we're really lucky to have the technology in this classroom to make it happen. So let's go ahead and start brainstorming and planning out what your movie is going to be about.